Hey, what's up, everybody? Fabs here. Just came back from Captain Marvel, and it was awesome. Go check it out. And there was a scene after the movie that will definitely get you excited if you're a superhero geek. Anyways, big news. Antonio Brown blocked me on Twitter. But that's not the big news. The big news is that he's been traded to the Oakland Raiders. Now, this is a better case scenario for his fantasy value than had he gone to Buffalo, which I'm not sure if he squashed that trade or not because he didn't want to go to Buffalo. But regardless, going to Oakland is a better scenario for his fantasy value. With that being said, he's no longer a top 5 fantasy wideout for me. There is a case to be made for him to remain a top 10 fantasy wide receiver. The targets are going to be there. John Gruden's going to get him the football. They just gave this dude a boatload of money at 31 years old. So, hey, God bless him. I still think blocking me on Twitter for saying he wouldn't be a top 10 wide receiver in Buffalo is very petty for a dude with millions and millions of social media followers. I mean, I'm just a fantasy football analyst. But anyways, I'd say Brown is no longer worth a first-round pick. I'd say he's probably going to end up going in the second round, maybe late in the second round, in a lot of redrafts, especially PPR redrafts. But this is going to do a little bit of damage to his value. I mean, he played in Pittsburgh with Ben Roethlisberger in an offense that scored a ton of points. I get it. He was arguably the elite wide receiver in fantasy football for the last 5 years, but I think DeAndre Hopkins has passed him. Now that he's in Oakland, Julio Jones has passed him as well. Michael Thomas is going to be drafted ahead of him. Tyreek Hill's probably going to be drafted ahead of him, and several others as well. So AB, for the first time in a long time, no longer worth a first-round pick, even in PPR leagues and fantasy leagues. Likely a second-round pick. I would expect there to be a decrease in his statistical success. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he put up the worst numbers that he's had in the last 5 years. Not saying he's going to be a complete bust, but if you're expecting Antonio Brown to be the guy who carried your fantasy football teams in years past, you're probably going to be disappointed, and that's not me saying it out of spite because AB might be a little bit petty for blocking me on Twitter, but I'm just speaking the truth here, my friends. Staying in Pittsburgh was his best case scenario outside of being traded to the Green Bay Packers. Now he's in Oakland. Raider Nation's very excited, but from a fantasy perspective, this is a negative for Antonio Brown. We'll see you soon.